But let's jump into the final topic. We're going to be talking about biggest disappointments so far throughout the NBA season. Doesn't mean they will be disappointments at the end of the season. Doesn't mean that they, are done and washed up. Just means right now we're a little disappointed in their performance. We will talk about some players. We'll talk about some teams. Let us know your thoughts, obviously, down in the comments below as well. Check out patreon.com as well. We'll just plug that right now. Patreon.com/MostValuedPodcast. Don't check out patreon.com. It's homepage. That doesn't matter. Check out patreon.com/MostValuedPodcast. But we're going to jump in and I'm going to help you guys out, all right? I'm going to help you guys out, and we're going to start with a Sean rant. Because this is someone who has been disappointing to me, and it's mainly because I put so much on the line for them this year, and I was like, this is a guy that's going to be, his team's going to be number one seed in the NBA, and right now they're still in a position to do so, but I thought he would be in a better position right now. I thought he would be adding more to his team right now than he is, and that is Nikola Jokic. And Jokic right now has just been the same passive-aggressive player that he has been. He has 3 games where he's taken more than 20 shots in a game. And some people might not say that that's not their offense. That's not how Nikola Jokic plays. But even with that, he has 3 games with 10 or more assists. So it's not like he's just racking up assists and being passive-aggressive and just racking up a ton of points
passive,
with that.
Not aggressive.
I mean, there's in the games that he has 10-plus assists, and he has 23 points, 18 points, and 10 points. So he's still being aggressive and shooting. There's 5 games in his 16-game category where he has 10 or less points. And then even add that, he has a game with 10 points. So you could just say he has 6 games with 10 or less points. And he has, I think, maybe 7 games with 20 points in those games. This is a guy that was a MVP candidate last year. This is a guy that had the ability to shoot threes at one point. And now he's just absolutely caved in. It seems like he's not trying at all on offense, which is absolutely weird. He's been fine defensively, which has been kind of a shocker for most people. This team's been very good defensively, but it just seems like he is not putting the effort in to be the great NBA player that I thought he could have been. And at 24, it seems like he's digressing. And that is a complete concern because in the playoffs, he looked like a monster. And, Jokic is going to come back. He's taking a ton of shots. He's taking over this Denver team. He's going to be able to lead them through the playoffs. And then he comes out this year absolutely flat. And I don't know what the fuck is going on with him, but he needs to step up and become a better player because this was a guy that was 3rd in MVP voting last year, and now he's just falling off the face of the earth. We just had an MVP conversation. I didn't even think about bringing him up. It was ridiculous, and I'm super disappointed in what Jokic has been doing so far.
Well, and this is one of the main reasons, too, of whenever we have conversations about playoff teams or at the beginning of the year, it's like, oh, who can win the championship? Why I never throw the Nuggets hat into contention, where it's like, they'll be a good regular. See, I feel like the Nuggets and Jokic being in this they're just a really good regular season team. They're going to be top 2, top 3 in the Western Conference. But then because of what you just said, playoff time, they're not going to, if they have to go toe-to-toe with LeBron, go toe-to-toe with Kawhi, those bigger players, they're not going to stack up. Because their star doesn't stack up to the rest.
But literally, playoffs, that's where Jokic stood out. That's where last year Jokic was absolutely dominant last year with 127 offensive rating, 109 defensive rating, 25 points, 13 boards, 8.4 assists, 50% from the field, 39.3% from three. The other players didn't step up. That wasn't on Jokic. Jokic was dominant last year in the playoffs, and that was like a holy shit. He finally clicked for a moment.
Yeah.
And this year he's just been garbage for the first 16 games. And I don't know what is going on with him, where that is the biggest disappointment. I didn't think this team was going to be a great playoff contender. I still think they have moves to make. Once they get rid of that Millsap contract, they'll be able to add a player that I think could add more.
And they've got so many pieces to move on top of that. They're just such a deep team with all these assets. I'm completely with you. They are, a year or two away from being absolutely at their peak, but I'm just disappointed in Jokic's play, and I think you nailed it. It's the it's the perceived effort on the court. It's the fact that during the offseason, we see everybody, with these crazy workout mixtapes, and Jokic is coming into the league looking like he's rocking, 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And his hustle, leaves a little something to be desired out
It's
there.
harder for a big man to get down the court when you weigh heavier than you did a year ago.
He still moves well enough, but you're right. There's just something about his passive play. I think you nailed it just right there. He looks passive out there.
Why does a 7-footer at the rim only have 46 shot attempts? What the fuck is wrong with you? You are a 7-foot monster. And I understand he plays well beyond the three-point line at times, without a doubt. But, what the fuck is going on? Why is your shot getting worse? Where the hell are you? Like, get in the goddamn gym, start taking shots, and at least if you're going to take less shots, at least be a more efficient player for your team, because right now your team is horrible offensively. This team was phenomenal offensively last year, and they've taken a complete dip, and he's lucky that this team's been so good defensively, because if they hadn't, they'd be at the bottom of the Western Conference right now. They have been so goddamn good defensively, and it hasn't been because of Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic has not been playing much different than he has been the past couple of years defensively. He has stayed the same, but this team defensively has been so fucking good, and he has been such a disappointing player when it comes to the offense. The offense is what Jokic is relied on for offensively for the Nuggets, and he has just come short every single game this year, it feels like. And this is a team that, if they weren't good defensively, they would not be in the position they are right now. Nikola Jokic, as a star of the team, has been massively disappointing.
Do you feel like it's more trying to go through Murray now? Do you think that they're switching their horses midway through this race, or do you think it's just Jokic is having a down start of the year? And...
I think it's Jokic just not being aggressive. I haven't seen the offense change drastically. It's still the same system. It's still everything is going through Jokic. Everything is trying to
play inside out.
Yeah, it's still trying to play, movement. It's still trying to, have guys come off hard screens. It's still trying to get shooters open and out there. But I haven't seen the creativity from Nikola Jokic. I haven't seen the will to go out there and just be the guy that is lighting it up and having fun out there. I haven't seen that from him, and that's a big concern for me. I don't think it's really anything to do with Jamal Murray or Gary Harris or Will Barton. It's not anything to do with Porter Jr. It's not anything to do with Millsap. Look at the last two games that they had. Miles fucking Plumlee outplayed you. That's a concern. Or Mason. It's one of the Plumlee brothers. I think Miles is on the Nuggets. It doesn't matter. You could say Plumlee and people know who they are. It's Mason. Mason Plumlee's fucking outplaying you in the past two games. Like, that is a concern. Mm-hmm. I don't know what else to say. It's not anything to do with the team or the offense. It's just Jokic has not been Jokic.
The nice thing is, though, like you said, they are a regular season team. They are winning a lot of games. So they do have the luxury of being able to fix this throughout the season. And hopefully, he hits his peak.
They don't need to fix anything.
He needs to.
This team is fine.
Yeah.
Jokic needs to fix stuff.
Gotcha.
He is the disappointment.
Gotcha.
This team right now is playing their ass off and they're 13-3 without their best player playing well. This isn't like LeBron James in MVP territory, Anthony Davis in MVP territory because the Lakers are 17-2. Mm-hmm. No, they're 13-3 in spite of Nikola Jokic's bad play.
Shit.
Jokic has been a disappointing player this year.
Can I take your big and raise you another big?
I don't care. That's the whole segment. Who's disappointing you?
Lauri Markkanen. Yeah. Where it's like, and I was gonna mention a Bull. Like at first, I was like, oh, the Bulls team, but I'm like, we talk about the Bulls team
so much.
We
do.
Let's just focus in on one player and like what you're saying about Jokic. You could have taken out Jokic and just said what you said, and I'd be sitting there going, yeah, I have those same thoughts about Lauri Markkanen.
You can't, though, because Markkanen was never an MVP candidate.
No.
I
just
want to throw that out there. I'm so fucking pissed off.
Everything you talking about, like, how, he's taking more shots from the outside and he's not being aggressive. Like, I'm sitting there, like, having a double take here. I'm like, wait, is he talking about Jokic or is he talking about Lauri Markkanen? And it's just this year for me, maybe this is the Bulls fan in me having this same passion, but it's like Casey Johnson had a tweet where Lauri Markkanen had 7 single-digit scoring outings in 19 games. Last year, he scored in single digits 4 times.
Yeah.
In 52. It's like, that is a problem. When you're having that many single-digit scoring games. And also, the thing that pisses me off the most, haven't had a chance to rant about it, how do you go out there and score what he had against Golden State? He had 8 points against Golden State. Eric Pascal had 25. Eric Pascal is a rookie. How did you let this happen? And I'm not talking defensively. Lauri Markkanen's never been the defensive stopper. But how do you only put 8 points up when the rookie on the other end is putting up 25?
And the rookie on the other end is like 6'8", by the way. He's thick, but he's not big.
A G League team.
Yep.
Blew you out. And I'm just going to say blew you out because that game
They did. It wasn't close.
For me, that's my biggest
14
disappointment.
to the Warriors.
It's a blowout.
Yeah.
And
that's even too close. Like, the score doesn't even tell the story.
And that's the biggest disappointment. Like, I didn't even want to bring up the whole Bulls. I just want Lauri Markkanen, where it's like, I know you're better than this.
Are you giving him credit for the oblique injury. I'm going to air quote that. Right?
No, because they haven't officially said he's injured, so no.
Okay.
Like, I get the whole playing through nagging injuries, but it's like Sean has said it numerous times on Superfans. If you are seriously hurt, don't play.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to play. Yep. Like, I get this whole, like, yet again, there's the 90s Bulls fan in me going, tough guy, play.
No one looks at Lauri Markkanen and thinks he's tough. Get the fuck out of here with the 90s bullshit.
No,
that was 20 years ago.
I didn't say 90s Bulls. I'm saying the 90s fan in me of, like, you play through the injury, you show your toughness. No, you don't have to.
He doesn't look tough.
You don't have to.
But he doesn't look tough. That's the thing. Is even if that's what he's trying to do, he looks like a goddamn weakling out there.
I mean, I could get what he, like, Chicago.
I'm so sick of his lack of his effort, his lack of aggressiveness. You're 7 feet tall. Learn that you're 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Chicago is an attitude. We are the first ones to jump on you if you think, like, look at Mitch, where it was like he came out with that hip injury, we jumped all over him.
Yep.
All over him. We're like that. So I can Twitter
people
was
thought he was benched.
Yeah, no, but Twitter was also looking at where it's like, oh, like he had a hit, like, oh, they're taking the benching and calling it a hip injury.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that's what the Bears were pushing out. Mitch wasn't pushing out that he was injured. Mitch was saying that he wanted to finish out the game. I didn't see many people saying Mitch is like a weakling out there.
No, but Jay Cutler on the cycle shit.
The point is
the Cutler thing was more of
that was ridiculous.
Bears fans, Bulls fans, Chicago fans.
Yep.
We will jump over you if we think that you're being weak, you're being soft out there. SAWFT, and that's what I've seen from Lauri Markkanen. So yeah, he'd be my biggest disappointment. My rant is now over.
Mike Conley. Can we talk about falling off the cliff? This man came off of...
Here to Mike Conley.
I'm sorry. Mike Conley went from... He was the heart of grit and grind. It was him and Marc Gasol, Zebo on that Grizzlies team fighting through tough out in the playoffs year in, year out. And, over time, I get it. Pieces go away. But Mike Conley was still legit. He was an excellent player last year, and he was supposed to be the piece to pair alongside Donovan Mitchell to help them get over the fucking wall. They're like, hey, guys, Mike Conley is a professional point guard. He's the I'm always so good. I'm not all-star good, but I'm like just sliver below that.
I'm an all-star snub.
I'm an all-star snub.
Consistent all-star snub.
I'm a great player, though, and smart player, always effort first, plays good defense, plays solid offense. And what does he do? He comes out and just shits the bed left, right. It's just, I mean, if you look at him if you don't even watch the games, and I've seen 4 games of the Jazz this year, and all 4 of them have sucked for them. But if you look at the stats, last year...
Maybe stop watching Jazz games.
I should, maybe. Last year he was putting up like 21, 3, and 6 with like 1.3 steals a game on 43, 36, 85 shooting. And this year, 13.9 points a game, 3.5 boards, 4.5 assists on 36, 35, 78 shooting. Like, his shooting splits got worse. His assist to turnover ratio got worse. Everything about his game outside of his defense. His defense has been good. We'll give him credit. He's still hustling out there, still making the right moves. But offensively, this is not what they had hoped for in Utah. He has been the biggest letdown to this Jazz team. We talked about this Jazz team in the offseason saying, on paper, they've got some of the best positional rankings that any team in the NBA has had. And we're like, if they can put this together, they're just world killers out there because they have great defense at most positions. They've got good offensive players to fill in the gaps. And Donovan Mitchell's not going to be out there doing it on his own again. They got this. And Bojan Bogdanovic coming up huge for this team. People thought, he just put good numbers in on the Pacers because nobody else was there to do it. And Vic went down, so it was just the Bojan show. He can't do that on any other team. No, he's still out there killing it for the Jazz. He's doing a great job. Gobert's playing well. He had a rough start, but he's playing well now. Mitchell's doing okay. But Mike Conley is holding this team back from being an elite team in the West. And it's fucking ridiculous that I have to rant about a 32-year-old Mike Conley who shouldn't have fallen off a cliff, but he seemingly has. And it concerns me because I had a lot of hopes for this team, and I thought that, like I said, we went in. I think they were they the number 3 team during that?
Weren't they the number 1 team?
They might have been the number 1 team. You're right. They might have been the number 1 team for the overall average rankings that are hilarious and incredibly false. But it is what it is, and I'm completely disappointed in Mike Conley. I don't have words to tell you how disappointed I am in a player who had such a legacy to him, and he's come over to this new team, and I get it. It's a different offensive system. but he looks so fucking lost at times.
Mike Conley finished 6th in our point guard rankings, just so you know.
Yeah, and again, he deserved to be 6th.
Sixth
He was coming
overall.
off one. He literally was coming off one of his best years.
Final team, they were number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both you and I, Dave, had him at 6. Sean had him at, 8?
Yeah.
So we all had him top 10.
And he had an excellent year last year. Everything was trending upwards. And I don't want to say he fell off that cliff because he is only 32. But it looks like he's just not all there offensively yet.
Or is it the Max Kellerman, Tom Brady? It's not a cliff, it's a slope.
It's
He's sliding down the slope right now,
God,
Dave.
Kellerman's walked that back 4 years in a row.
Because Tom Brady is never going to fall off a cliff.
Point being,
even though he doesn't look good
Jazz.
right now.
They're a good team. They could be even scarier, and that's the thing. It's like you said, the Nuggets. They're an excellent team. They're still doing great even without their best player. Mike Conley wasn't supposed to be their best player. He's supposed to help their whole team as a whole and fill in that gap of a point guard out there. They moved Joe Ingles to the bench, which has been great for them because having someone who can run an offense off the bench out of the small forward position gives them great flexibility. But it sucks when the guy you bring in, who was a near all-star, just forgets how to play fucking offense.
Well, and too, with the Jingles thing, I mean, Jingles and Favors was such a good pairing last year, too, that you wonder, like, if they didn't have to move on from Favors because they bring in Carmelo, if they were able to get a cheaper, what, this is Carmelo?
We did say Carmelo right there.
If they didn't have to move away from Favors to get Conley, then I wonder if they were able to bring in a cheaper option at that point guard position, if they would have been able to keep Favors and then still move Ingles to the bench and have Favors and Ingles just murder people as a bench crew. So I would wonder if that would be something that would have been, what their look would be and if they'd be even a better team right now, because it is tough to see that, they could be a team that challenges for a championship if Mike Conley doesn't step it up. So that would be, something at least that I could totally see would be disappointing. You guys have a team, because
Yes.
you talked a lot about players.
Yes.
Team.
The Detroit Pistons. I'll
Okay.
stay in the East, where it's like they're a team this year, and especially article that recently came out where Blake Griffin saying that this Pistons team is lacking fight. And this is a team last year, 8th seed. And we're like, how can they build off of this year? How can Blake Griffin and this Pistons team build off it? And it's not Blake's fault. Blake's not at fault here. And yes, you can say the point guard, like, yes, he was not healthy earlier in the year, but like when he's out there, he's doing everything he can to win games. Derrick Rose is out there doing everything he can to win games. To me, the big one on this team is like the biggest kind of magnifying glass of this is Andre Drummond. Like when he played the Bulls, where it was like,
Griffin sucked in that game too.
No, I'm saying like third quarter.
We literally got to watch
and
Drummond give up in a game.
Yeah,
he
but
just
also
fouled out.
Griffin
like,
wasn't trying in that game either. It wasn't like he was the only. It wasn't like it was just Drummond.
But
so
this team,
Blake Griffin could say that, but his words are hollow because he's also not doing that.
This team, though, overall, I was expecting them to take a step forward, and it seems like they've done the opposite. They took a step forward last year, and now have taken 2 steps back.
Here's my thing. I'm not disappointed in the
Dwayne
the
Casey's not a good head coach?
No,
well,
he's not a good head coach, but I'm not disappointed for that reason.
Okay.
What was my hot take?
That they're going to trade Blake Griffin.
They're going to trade Blake Griffin. Portland Trailblazers are going to get him, and they're going to win the NBA Finals.
But you know
this
what?
is just lining up. No, Carmelo's going to be a bench option.
I didn't see it coming.
I didn't see Carmelo coming, but Carmelo's going to be a bench option. He's going to be their Lou Williams. And Blake Griffin's going to be their starting 4, and they're going to win the NBA title. And they're going from a disappointment to champion. And also, you mentioned, I think, in the pretender-contender one, they've played a ton of road games so far. So
they've only played 7 home games so far.
I mean, this is setting up where, hey, maybe Nasir Little or Anthony Simons becomes a Piston, and you get Blake Griffin becoming a Trailblazer, and you get the Larry O'Brien going over to Damian Lillard's head. Could happen.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I think they are a little disappointed. I don't know if they're a disappointment yet to me because it's so early in the year, and I feel like we've seen individual great performance out of Drummond. Like that kid's just oozing with natural talent, but again, it's the like you got to grow. You got to grow as a player, not height wise. You're already there, but like skill wise. Yeah, I don't know. That's rough for me. If I'm gonna pick a disappointing team, it's gonna be the Magic.
That was my team.
Hey,
We Agree podcast.
I'll start you off then. I think this Magic team they picked up where they left off last year defensively. They're long. They have good athleticism. They have good switchability. They know how to scheme defensively against the opponent's best players. And it's the like gambit of, do you go ahead and lock down, all the outside shooters? Do you go ahead and try to make him beat you or make everybody else beat you, kind of a gimmicks? Like, they're good on that, but they've not been great at finding their best option offensively. And I think that's the struggle, is we expected Aaron Gordon to be more than a third option.
I'm sick of him, man. He's just not good anymore.
Athletic hype beast. He can guard just about anybody out there, but it doesn't fit. This team needs someone to take the scoring load. And when you're relying on Evan Fournier to absolutely dominate people with his shooting outside, that's not a good state. Like, I give them all the credit in the world. They picked up Fultz. I love the kid. I think that they're giving them the right amount of leash to run with that first unit.
And he's been playing well.
And he's been playing well. But they need someone to generate offense for them. Bamba, as a backup center.
Disappointing.
He's been disappointing. He had one game. He dropped 5 straight threes in. He was 5 of 5 from 3. It was fucking hilarious. But outside of that, like, he's not there yet. He's still a growing product in development. It will take him more time. So you need an offensive weapon on that team, and that's why they've been mocked in so many trade rumors around DeMar DeRozan and the Spurs, because DeRozan, for all his faults, can put ball in bucket pretty fucking well.
Yeah, and I know Vucevic was a little bit of a disappointment to start off the year, and then he had an ankle injury, so it's tough to call him a disappointment. But the only person that I could say that, the two people that I can say that haven't been disappointments on the team are Markelle Fultz and Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah.
Those guys have been studs. But outside of that, it's like, eh.
Yeah, even the offensive supernovas let me down a little.
Yeah, so the Magic are a good team that I think that you
the shots got to start
head.
falling at some point, otherwise they're going to have to get somebody in there who can shoot, but on a decent deal. But that's the problem.
Isn't that what Fournier is? Isn't that why they gave Fournier $17 million a year?
I said on a decent deal.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Magic would be mine. If we have to throw out one more, I would probably put out the Trailblazers are tough. It's probably the Spurs.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
2-8 in their last 10. 7-13. This was a team that we thought, and they're only 6 games under 500. I think this is a team that can still bounce back. But
when you got DeMar and LaMarcus Aldridge on that team, you should not be this bad.
Well, and DeJounte Murray coming back. You have, the two good guards that you saw last year in Forbes and White.
Yeah.
You thought that this team could take a step forward. Lonnie Walker is young. I feel
we thought they're adding talent back.
Yeah.
On top of what they had, and it turns out that DeJounte Murray, defensively, this man is fucking first team, second team, guaranteed. Like, he is so good out there defensively. I love watching him play. The problem is he's not all there offensively yet. Like, he had one great pop-off game to start the year, and I got, my expectation went through there. I was like, this kid's got it. He's a lock. He's absolutely going to be a fucking stud. To, all right, he's back to, he's still on limited minutes, which is fair, but he needs to work on his game, needs to get his comfort level back, because right now, he even took the step back as I'm going to play with the second unit. I'm going to go ahead and do what's best for the team, play with the second unit, let Derek White be out there with the starters, let them switch things up a little bit to try to get better results, because what was killing them was the spacing between him and DeRozan on the floor at the same time. You couldn't. It was just two guys with similar game plans in the mid-range. So I look forward to seeing how he continues to grow throughout the year. But yeah, the expectation was this team's going to add back talent and get better, and instead they've looked like a dated NBA team.
Yeah, and the Spurs, maybe they'll be able to turn it around because Pop is Pop, but so far I would label them disappointment. Any final teams you want to throw out there, guys?
Nope, that was my 3: the Bulls, the Pistons, and the Spurs.
David?
No, I think the bottom of both leagues look about right.
Spurs, Magic, Jokic, Ricky, what?
I got one that's kind of like a minor disappointment that I wasn't going to throw out as I'm serious. No, I'm serious about it. I was thinking about it, but a minor disappointment would be the 76ers. Only minor because, yes, they're still in the race. It's still a long season. But if they end the year as the 5th seed...
Dude, just say Ben Simmons then.
He's
played down. This is his worst year in the NBA so far. He hit a 3.
He hit a 3.
But this is his worst year in the NBA.
Wet boy worthy 3.
And I think it's funny that, he is getting roasted on a team that is 13-6. And people are throwing out trade rumors. I know that's half jokingly, but they're like, we should try to get Dame Lillard for Ben Simmons. And it's just funny. It's like, dude, your team's winning. They're on great pace, but the problem is everybody looks around and we all know where the problem is, and it's kind of awkward. I think if they struggle in the playoffs this year, it's gonna get real fucking awkward.
So is it Brett Brown or is it Ben Simmons?
Brett Brown goes first.
Find out later.
Yeah.
Well, that's just the nature of the NBA. It's coaches always going to be on the chopping block, and then it's players, and then it's owners.
Yep.
Or actually, you might even be able to put GMs in front of players now at this point.
Outside of Chicago, sure, that would make sense.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Who's been disappointing? We said Magic, Spurs,
Mike Conley,
Pistons. Who else did you say?
Lauri Markkanen.
Markkanen. You didn't throw another team?
No, I did Markkanen, Pistons, and then agreed with you with Spurs.
Spurs, Magic. I threw out Jokic. You threw out Conley as well. So let us know who you think is disappointing this year so far. But that's going to do it for the podcast. I want to thank Dave, Ricky, and Jake. Jake for joining us for our Pretenders segment. We appreciate his contributions. I'm Sean Anderson. We'll see you guys next time.